I'm gonna give maybe a few more minutes. Usually we got a few more people.
Mhm.
So maybe I'll start at like 7:03, 7:04, something like that.
Mhm. Good.
Well, we don't keep time over here in Zimbabwe. We don't keep time. The expression is Americans have watches and Africans have time.
Very nice. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, something's going on.
Maybe a bit of an echo, possibly.
Oh, is it me?
That's better. Must have been you.
Well,
Yeah.
I have to have
No, it was Laura. It was Laura.
my phone is my internet source. I'm hotspotting myself, and my computer wouldn't connect, so I had to use my iPad. So I've got like all the devices are sitting in front of me.
Mhm.
Welcome, Emily Saylor.
Mm.
Thank you everyone for inviting me.
Thanks.
Emily, you have quite an impressive or a well-known name in education in the TDSB. Was your father Randy? Randy?
Yes, my father-in-law was Randy Saylor.
Okay.
How do you know him?
He was my colleague. I was a principal when in his day.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say hello to him
Actually,
for me.
well, he actually passed away last year.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
yeah, so I'm actually at his cottage right now. I'm in a car because I have three small children, and Randy's oldest son is visiting from England with his three small children. And so we've got six of his grandkids under the age of 10 running around, and I needed a quiet place to take this meeting. So I'm literally sitting in my car. But it's a small world. I'll when I finish this meeting, I will let his wife and his sons know about this connection. It's always nice to hear.
Very nice.
How are we doing? Did we get any more? No.
One more, but I guess we'll start.
Mhm.
Yeah, we've got a pretty full program, so may as well kick things off. Welcome everybody to the July 15th, 2026 Toronto Eglinton Rotary meeting here on Zoom. Thanks for everyone for making it. We've got a couple in their car, and I guess Dr. Thistle hasn't left just yet, but um, really excited to hear from our guests today. We're going to go a bit out of order given the guests. I think we were going to do Dr. Thistle 5 minute update on what he's doing at the Mission Hospital in Coranda, and then we can go to the speaker and do all our usual club stuff after, unless anyone objects to that.
No?
Jack,
Yeah.
do you want to do a brief intro? Not that he really needs it to our club, but for anyone who doesn't know Dr. Thistle.
Who do you want to do that, Chad?
If you want to do it, it can be very brief or
Well, we've worked with Dr. Thistle in Uganda, supporting his projects through the McClure Fund for many, many years. I think it started when you were at the Howard Hospital and we bought you an ambulance. And um, of late, we are supporting the education of Dr. Thistle's nurses. Nurses are not well paid, and anything extra that Paul can do to keep them at Coranda is beneficial. And so he provides them with the opportunity to do graduate courses at various universities in Africa. And we have been Gunitsi and her committee have been doing that for I don't know, I think we're on 7 or 8 years, and it's just wonderful. We've also contributed to the construction of some new laboratory facilities and whatever. Paul is very good at keeping us informed as to the impact of our funds, and that's what we like to hear. We like the follow-up. So thank you, Paul, and take it away.
you're on mute.
Your microphone, Paul. Turn on your microphone, Paul.
Okay, thank
Good.
you.
Yep.
Thank you, Walter. Okay, thank you, Jackie, for the introduction. I will keep this brief as I'm an add-on for this meeting because we are returning to Zimbabwe the end of July, and time is flying by in the summer. But I'm actually taking this call from rural Newfoundland, where it's 16 degrees Celsius and raining. So maybe you can share some of your heat, and we'll give you some rain to try and complement the weather patterns in North America. You're under your heat dome over there in Ontario, so I hear people talk. So I'm here for 1 week, but just to give you an update about Karanda Hospital and the current situation at Karanda. I think most of you are familiar with the work in Zimbabwe. You know that I work as a medical director of a mission hospital, lots of numbers there, 250,000 people in our district and 140,000 patients a year. We do general medicine and surgery and 2,000 deliveries. Deliveries, those are babies, right? Not Uber Eats. Um, and so I'm an obstetrician gynecologist by training. So I get a lot of practical experience with our midwifery team in the obstetrics, in the delivery of infants. And we also have nursing and midwifery school that Jackie alluded to. Continuing education is a big part of what we like to do in Zimbabwe at Karanda in our rural setting north of the capital of Harare, community-based care, cancer screening. Now, we're a busy hospital and we do it on a budget which is currently about 1.5 million. That sounds like a lot of money, but the Canadian equivalent of a community hospital would be $300 million in an annual operating budget. So we learned to work on a shoestring. But let's get to the current situation because, yes, as Jackie alluded to, we've had a partnership that's lasted for 2 decades between Karanda or my ministry at Howard or Karanda and the Rotary Club of Toronto Eglinton. And Jackie mentioned a few things that were long-standing and life-saving alliance. And we can talk about maternal child health, or you helped it with the laboratory expansion, rehabilitation, cancer prevention, HIV and AIDS, prevention, treatment, and care. But our current focus has been continuing nursing education under the Dr. Robert McClure bursary. Can you hear me? Okay, everybody can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'll keep going then. So it's always wondering technology if it works in rural Newfoundland, and it seems to work. Um, we've had a shortage of healthcare workers, especially nurses, and our current salary for a nurse is $250 a month for a salary of a nurse, which doesn't mean leaves them little income to take a further education online or in school on the ground. So that's where Rotary, Toronto Eglinton comes in. They've been supporting us through Dr. Robert McClure, who I had the privilege of meeting when I was a medical student off the Bayview Extension, probably 35 years ago. So the Robert McClure Foundation supports the continuing medical education of nurses. It allows our current staff to continue working full time as the education is mostly long distance or online learning now that we have Starlink in our rural community here in Zimbabwe. So basically, our current grant from Robert McClure is supporting our matron That's our nursing director, and her name is Emily, and she's taking a postgraduate diploma in project management. So that's a nutshell about Karanda. I know the world is moving on fast and furious with AI and technology, and
I think once you mentioned AI and technology, that was it for the
Yeah.
technology.
Rotary's
Nope.
history as well, and school education, and at Karanda, surgical and medical care. So I want to say thanks to our friends there that we can't meet in person, but I'm sure glad that we can meet for a few minutes online. And our appreciation goes out to everyone in the club for your support of our nursing staff. So I'll leave it there. Just a disclaimer. This update is not AI generated. If it was AI generated, then it would be a better sense of humor and much better prepared. But thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Thistle, for joining us and for everything you do. It's a great long-standing partnership we have.
Thank you.
So yeah, you're more than welcome to head out if you're busy or stay on the line.
You may have to go jig a codfish or something, but I'll see what my family's up to. But
Usually
thank you
people
again.
make
No sign out.
a work
Then.
excuse, but yeah,
Thank you, Paul.
enjoy your time.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much, friends. All
Thank
the
you.
best.
So speaking of long-standing partnerships, our club has actually quite a few of them. And we've sort of been making a habit recently of getting re-engaged with some of those. Trails obviously is one that comes to everybody's mind. But another one we've had, at least since I've been a member of the club, and it predates that by quite some time because it seemed like one we had going for a while when I joined already, was our partnership with John Polanyi Institute in Toronto. Um, when I first joined, we were pretty heavily involved with the robotics club there, and we had members going in after school, engaging with students, financial support, and it was working really well. We've also had sort of these scholarships, which we provide awards every year at the graduation ceremony for the grade 12s, and I know that's something that the school appreciates because they make us a pretty big part of that um, graduation ceremony. So I just thought it might be worth reaching out to see, when we sort of were talking about their awards this year and then the recipients, to sort of get an update from the school, if nothing else. And um, perhaps there's something going on there where we could re-engage. So with that said, I'll turn it over to Emily Saylor, who's the vice principal at John Polanyi.
Thank you for that introduction, and it's good context for me, being new to John Polanyi this year. I first learned of the Rotary Club's connection as we were talking about our commencement and learning about the several awards that you fund for our graduate, which, as you mentioned, is extremely appreciated by our school community. I think your organization funds about a quarter of our commencement awards, which is quite amazing. So when I was asked to, present tonight, I thought how wonderful to meet some of the faces behind the Rotary Club of Toronto Eglinton, and also just share a little bit about what's going on at John Polanyi. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the school. I don't want to bore you with a ton of details, but what I did, if it's okay, is I made a short little presentation just to speak to if I'm able to share my screen, and I can show you some photos and some stuff of if that's good. So let me just get that up there. Okay. Can people see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So again, my name is Emily Saylor. This is my first year as the vice principal at John Polanski. It's also the first year that the school has been reduced to one vice principal. It's always had a principal and two VPs, but with cutbacks, as you've all heard about, we were one of the schools first hit by administrative cutbacks. So this year I've been a solo VP at the school. Prior to John Polanski, and good context for you to have is I was vice principal of Lawrence Park Collegiate for 3 years, which is about a kilometer down the road. But you couldn't get a more different school in terms of community and demographics. So it's been a really interesting contrast for me to have these two experiences as administrator the last few years. My first year at John Polanski, I have absolutely fallen in love with the school, and that's why I'm here on a July evening to speak to you about it, because it is such an incredible place that I really am passionate about. The staff in the building are next to none, caring about kids holistically. You know, the academics obviously are why we're there, but everything else that goes with it, they are fully committed, wonderful humans that I am so privileged to work with every day. The students, there's quite a reputation about John Polanski being a tough school and a tough community, and a lot of people think they know what the school is like, but anyone that actually comes in, and maybe some of you have, you know, been in previous years working on that robotics or other reasons, you quickly fall in love with our kids. They are also just incredible people, and you can't help but fall in love with them. And then the community itself is, and I'm still learning about it, having only been there 1 year. Just a really close-knit, proud community. And it's undergoing a major revitalization right now, which is also a very interesting time for the school, kind of being at the center of that. I thought I'd share just a little bit of data. I don't want to go too deep into it, but just in terms of student population, so we've been hovering around about 500 students, which is quite significant because the school is built for over 1,000. So we definitely would love to grow our school in the next few years, and the projections show that it will grow because of the growth and revitalization of the Lawrence Heights community. Our school, you know, since its opening, has been the recipient of a lot of students that are newcomers to Canada, especially being located in Lawrence Heights. And so the demographics of the school really represent current Canadian immigration trends. About half of our students are born outside of Canada, and about 25, or about a quarter of them, have arrived in Canada in the last 5 years. And so I just thought I would talk about a few things that that have resonated with me this year that I think are important for the school. So first of all, we have an entire new admin team this year. So it's not just me. We have a new principal as well, and that's fairly uncommon for the TDSB to swap out an entire admin team. So that's new and kind of scary, but also because of the amazing staff in the building, it has gone seamlessly, and it's nice to have new eyes come into a building with different experiences and different ideas for the school. The photo at the top with a young man holding a card to his head, we have several different affinity groups now at the school. So we have a Black Student Alliance, we have a Gay Student Alliance, and then most recently this year we started a Filipino Student Association. Filipino Canadians make up a pretty significant population of our school right now. And so with a partnership of North York Community House, they have really supported the startup of that group. And I mention that because in this day and age, we really are relying on community partners for a lot of the work that we're doing that goes above and beyond in the walls of our school. There's a picture of some young ladies with green aprons. We've been really focusing on mental health, and we started a JP Day this winter, which stands for Just Play, where instead of traditional classes, kids got involved in all sorts of different fun activities to build community and make friends and see their teachers in a new light. And so kids were baking. We sent kids skiing for the first time. We had people come in and teach yoga. There was about 20 different activities on offer. And that was just a one-day event, but a huge success and a really important one. There's a picture of our garden, which is another really important part of our building, and that is another community partnership called PACT. They have a big community garden in our back that feeds, it's on TDSB property, but it feeds several hundred Lawrence Heights families every year. Our kids volunteer in the garden. They are there during class time. Teachers take them out. They go after school. They go on weekends. It's quite an amazing thing to have on our property. There's a photo of some tulips. One of our teachers was actually a centrally assigned teacher for outdoor education for the TDSB, and with some of those cuts, she lost her position there. And we were the benefactors of that because she's an amazing educator who's really taken it on to beautify our school grounds. And so she's done a lot of work with students to landscape the school in little areas. So that's been lovely. We brought back a fun fair this year. Just a lot of the things I think in the school post-COVID never returned. And so it really was the focus of myself and several of the teacher leaders in the building to bring back some of the things that brought joy to our students and made school, a fun place for them. In not so great news, we started the year with a major flood in our library, and so we lost about 80% of our collection of books. And so our library is not a happy place right now. I have looked into the Indigo charity, but they only do elementary school, so I'm still trying to figure out how we can deal with that. And then we learned a couple of weeks ago that our cafeteria service will no longer be running starting next year. So the cafeteria will just be an open space, but there's no food service. And so I'm working with TDSB partners to figure out how we can feed our students for a cost-effective way, because obviously that's really important, especially in our community. So those are just a few things that I wanted to bring up from this year. And, if we have time, if people have questions about anything that I've said, I'd be happy to answer. But I do want to just talk about a few ideas that I have when I was thinking about, the goals of the Rotary Club, the little that I know, the little research that I've done, and if there is some interest to strengthen that partnership beyond the current awards at commencement. There are some things that are just getting up and running that I think would resonate, would connect to your core values. And so I'm just going to very quickly go over 3 things that we've started very early stages, and then leave it with you to discuss and happy to collaborate and all those things. But really, the goal of everything that I'm going to talk about is removing barriers. As I mentioned, we have amazing students, but they do have barriers to accessing a lot of the things that my own children don't have barriers to. And so one of the things that we started this year is on Saturday mornings, we have a math teacher and an English teacher come into the building every Saturday from 9:30 to 11:30 to deliver extra support for those 2 areas. Our, provincial data around literacy and numeracy is not the best. And traditional offerings of extra help are sometimes problematic. So at lunchtime, we have intramurals in the gym. We have all of our clubs running activities. And it's really difficult to ask students to give up the fun stuff and to go and sit in a math class, especially if it's something that they don't enjoy, that they find challenging. After school, a lot of our kids have commitments. They have to pick up younger siblings. They have to be home to help out in different ways. And so one of the ideas that we came up with, and we didn't know if it would work because what teenager wants to go to school on a Saturday? Um, but it's been a resounding success. And I think the reason for that is a lot of our students aren't allowed to go out and do things on the weekends. They're not allowed to go to the mall. They're not allowed to hang out at friends' houses, but they are allowed to come to school. It is a trusted, safe place. Um, and so we started the first weekend we did it. We had about 6 students. And then I think at peak we had about 40 students. And that's about just less than 10% of our population coming out on Saturday mornings. And the whole purpose of this is obviously to improve our literacy and numeracy outcomes for students. It also, removes the barrier of paying to go to Kumon. I can just speak again from my own experience. My oldest daughter is going into grade 5, and as soon as we saw that she was struggling in math, look at our options for all the different mathnasium or Kumon, and we have the ability to do that, but for a lot of our families at John Polanski, that isn't something that's realistic. And so this was an idea, and we thought we would give a go and see what happens. I've just cut and pasted this cute email that a dad sent me just after we started the programming, basically saying that his son was sick and wasn't able to come on Saturday, and in his whole life he has could never believe that his child was upset to not go to school on a Saturday morning. And then in addition to the academics, it really does help build community, the relationship with the adults in the building. And the other success story about this is that our feeder school, Lawrence Heights Middle School, which is a 678 school, saw that we were doing this, and then they started doing this as well for their grade 6 students. And so it's become a larger community thing. And I'm even thinking that if we continue this into next year, that perhaps our elementary school in our backyard, Flemington Elementary, perhaps they might want to join as well. We do have one volunteer that comes in, a retired teacher. She's actually the mother of one of our current teachers. But beyond that, we don't have any other volunteers coming in to support this program. Some of our senior students would go in and support with the Lawrence Heights students, which was really amazing to see. And that was on the last slide, the photo you saw, one of our grade 12s that just graduated supporting a grade 6 from Lawrence Heights. One of the draws of this program is we feed the kids. And this is a funding issue for us because we don't have money to do this. And so myself and a couple teachers usually go out on Friday nights and we beg local bakeries to give us their end of day whatever. Sometimes they give us a lot, sometimes they don't give us anything. And so to be honest, my teachers that run this program have spent a lot of money out of pocket to make sure the kids have something to eat when they come in on Saturday mornings, which, I never ask them to do. But, it just speaks to the type of educators that exist at John Polanski and their willingness to do that. Not only come in and give up half of their Saturday, but also their Friday evenings, making sure the kids have food when they come in. So that's one of the things I wanted to share that we have just started this year. The second one is even newer. Coming from Lawrence Park, I alluded to a very different environment. And what I want for John Polanski is I want the kids to have access to the same types of programming that the students at other schools do. And for the most part, I'm very proud to say they do. There's a huge amount of athletics and arts, but one thing that lacked is any sort of leadership focused group. And so with one of the teachers this spring, we came up with a group called the Student Leadership Collective. And the whole point of this group is to really develop leadership skills of our students so that it will benefit our own school, but also the broader community. And so we're kind of seeing as we go, like how this is all going to play out. One of the things that we would definitely like to do is bring in guest speakers. We'd like to take our kids, this group of 20 students that applied to be a leader. We interviewed them all, and we've chosen our team, and we did 1 day of training at MLSE Launchpad downtown, which was a free facility for us, which was, again, a really important thing. But there's other things I'd like to do with the kids. Like I'd like to take them to something like Camp Robin Hood out in Markham. I'd like to take them on trips, but all those things cost money, and busing and food and all that stuff. And so, we're taking it one step at a time, but I'm a really strong believer in student leadership and student voice. And this is something that's really near and dear to me. That is like a little passion project as I began at the school. So that's something else that I could see some potential connections with your organization. And then the last one is just if you ever drive by the school, you might notice this kind of, sad looking space. It's right on Lawrence. So it's the south side of the building. And it used to be a beautiful garden, and no one has used it for quite some time. And so the idea, working with some of our teachers, is to turn this into an outdoor classroom specifically for Indigenous education, which is woven into pretty much all of our courses right now. But we want to be able to give teachers a place to take learning outside. This year, I did invest in several picnic tables that we haven't set up yet, with the idea that we'd have some seating there. But we would like to do some landscaping. I would love to do a mural, work with the UIEC, which is the Urban Indigenous Education Center attached to the TDSB, to build a space that is meaningful and well used when it's seasonally appropriate. Yeah, so that's just one of the other kind of facilities project that I'm hoping that's more of a long-term one. The other two are up and going, but this one is something that is in idea stage right now, and that I'm hoping to get up and running with the backing of our school community. So I think I probably spoke for longer than I should, so I apologize. That, us educators sometimes talk and talk. So happy to answer any questions that you have, or if you just want to remove me, you can do that too.
Perfect. I've never been a good sergeant at arms keeping people on time anyways. So does anyone have any questions? And does anyone remember how we were involved in the packed garden? I'm pretty sure, I'm like 99% sure we were. Any questions? Jackie, you're on mute.
You did a great job at the beginning talking about our relationship with John Polanyi, but it goes really beyond that. Is Rahim still at Rahim? Okay, Rahim is actually an honorary member of our Rotary Club. You remember we made Rahim and we made Eamon Flahat, the principal. They were honorary members of this organization because we had a junior Rotary Club there, which involves leadership and community service. Rahim took two groups of students in 2 different years, and I think we gave about $10,000 each year for him to take students to South America, and I'm not sure where the other ones went. We also worked closely with PACT, And I'm wondering why you haven't got Pact involved with your garden, because that seems to be something that, a nice connection. But anyway, we have done many things over the years. You had a group of students called the City. It was just called City. Do you
They're
remember that?
still there.
And
They're still there.
is it okay? And we worked with them on T-shirts for new arrivals, YYZ, the YYZ. Do you remember that? And we uh, supported them distributing hygiene kits in the wintertime, a community service project. So we go back a long way. And it was Mike Hazel, really, who was the champion for the relationship with the partnership with John Polanyi. So great idea, Chad, to kickstart this again.
Well, thank you for all that background, and my apologies for not knowing
Oh,
all of
no.
the history there, but that's wonderful.
Yeah, one other thing I'd like to mention is just before the COVID hit with Rahim, we had a group of students who were doing, quote, a strategic plan for our club.
Yes.
They came in and they looked at it and they were examining and they made some wonderful presentations.
That
And
was the
those,
Rotman School, the
yeah,
leadership program there, yeah. Mhm. Oh, and we photographed and supported your robotics club. Do you remember, Ganitsi? We went over.
Oh, yes, yes, of course I do remember, yes.
Yeah. Is the
So,
robotics team still working? Still going?
Yes, yeah, the robotics is still going. We actually just invested in some new technology, and a lot of our older technology that still works. We actually just donated it to a charity that will fly all the equipment overseas. So the spirit of giving and Raheem is central to the school. It doesn't surprise me that you bring his name up because yeah, he's quite amazing and all that he does for the kids.
Actually, Ganitsi, we supported John Polanyi students to go up to Moose Factory Island to 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 to,
mm,
to teach robotics up there. And I think you and your husband went up, didn't you? Go with them?
2019, yes,
Yeah.
yes, we did.
A group, about 12 students. There was a
13, yes, 13. The
yeah.
group was around 16 with the teachers and parents as well.
Mhm.
So it was 4 days of visit, and it was wonderful. And the children and kids, students, I should say, I guess. So they were so happy to contact with each other. I wish we could have keep on going with with that project. And I think the COVID changed the route significantly. Otherwise, we were expecting indigenous students back into
Yeah.
town, Toronto, as well, and we were looking forward to host them here
Mhm.
with the JPCI students, robotic students. But well, it didn't. It had to be stopped somehow. It didn't go well, and because of the COVID, most probably. I'd like to ask something about the garden, Emily. You said you were planning the garden, so do you have a plan what to do? And maybe, I don't know, maybe a our committee would like to do something about it, financially, or some whatever the you need as a volunteer, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, so the garden that I'm speaking about is at the front of the school. It's completely separate from from the packed garden, which is in the back, and its idea is really food sustainability for the community. This would be in the front of the building, and the planning of it would have to go hand in hand with the UIC with Indigenous people to help us design that and make meaning. And so the idea is, hopefully that if we continue to go ahead with this, we work with them and then our students so that they could be learning through the process of it and why we're making the decisions we're making and doing the work the students are all involved in that because we all know that experience is so rewarding, so meaningful.
Okay, if there is anything our club can support you in some ways, please keep it in mind.
Thank you. I will.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. Like, Emily, thank you very much for coming here on on July evening. I mean, you can clearly see that your passion for this, and you're here in July. You've got the kids there on the weekend, so one more question from Norma, and then I'll finish up. Norma.
There, unmuting. I did copy your email down, Emily Saylor at TDSB. So if we want more questions, there's no problem just reaching out to you. Is that okay? I have a few questions, but I would rather put them in an email and hear back from you. Okay?
Yeah,
Okay,
email me anytime. I don't have barriers when it comes to work. It's something I'm working on. But yes, I'm even though it's the summer, I'm still working.
Okay, so you don't mind us reaching out. Thank
Not
you.
at all.
I will.
So yeah, I mean, like the sort of communication, like we sort of died down for a few years, and it sounds like we can sort of get some of that personal connection back. And I think even some of the stuff you said, it's sort of in the wheelhouse of what we're doing. So, um, Glenn, we can work and see what ideas we might be able to put in front of our committee, um, and hopefully get the ball rolling again in working together. But thank you very much for the update. And Jackie, I think you may have one more
I just have
question.
one more question. Norma and I bought the plaques, the Rotary, Toronto Eglinton Road. Are they still up on the wall?
They are. They get
Terrific,
updated
terrific.
every year.
Great,
Lamina
wonderful.
Silva is very good at making sure. It's actually the only school I've ever been at that updates their plaques every year.
Good,
Usually it falls
wonderful.
by the wayside, but they are still there.
Yeah, we worked with Philomena. Is she still
Yeah.
in guidance? Okay, great.
I was there for the graduation and I wasn't expecting, so I was up there with the checks and all of a sudden this woman starts handing me plaques and I'm like, what am I doing with this?
Well, that's Norma's artistry.
Sorry, Emily, one quick question. Is PAC still funding the vegetable garden?
They are. They are hugely involved in that garden. And as I noted, it's an amazing space that our students benefit from in so many different ways. Some of them receive the food. Their families get a lot of that food, but also just the ability to go out there and learn and get their volunteer hours. And a lot of our teachers will take classes out there. They sign up and they do educational sessions about a biology class will go out there or an art class will go out there. So it's PACT is very much involved in that garden.
Would the Pathways program, would they be able to help you with your tutoring classes? I mean, Pathways used to be in John Polanyi.
They still are.
Okay.
They don't service all of our students, but
Okay.
they do. A lot of our students are signed up for Pathways. I think Pathways does after school tutoring. And I
Attendance
think
monitoring.
it's just a lot of our, to be honest, and speaking with parents this year, some of our parents don't even let our kids go to Pathways because it's where it's located in the community, or for whatever reason, they don't attend regularly. And so there's something about sending their kids into the school that feels different. And so and some of our kids do both. And we want to keep our kids busy, and not all of our kids can keep busy with the extracurriculars that some of us grew up with. And so if they can stay busy after school by going to pathways and then on Saturdays coming to the school, and if it's working, if the kids are showing up, if we see improvements, if our teachers are still willing to do it, then we're going to keep trying.
Okay, so thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your time in the cottage, and expect to hear again from us before the next school year.
Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate all that you've done for the school up until now, and I look forward to partnering moving forward. Take care.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, I think we had two really good speakers there. David, do you have a reflection? Or I haven't sent a reminder email, so I wouldn't blame you if you didn't.
No, I do, but we don't need to do it. We have other stuff we have to talk to. It's core date.
Okay.
So
Any president's announcements?
Yeah, just quick sticks. I had a meeting last Wednesday evening on Zoom with the District 7070 presidents, brand new presidents. And we all those of us on the call talked about what our goals were for the year, but also some of the big activities and focuses that they had. And there was some really interesting ideas. We heard from Leaside, who I don't know whether you know, but Leaside currently has 3 presidents. They're laughing about, sorry, 3. They're laughing about the fact that they're a throuple. And I have no idea how that works, but I will find out more. But as you know, they have their annual Leaside corn roast, and they would be happy to have our help if we could. So we'll look into that and talk about that more. They're also doing a Taste of Leaside upcoming, and as you know, as a Leaside girl, I'm interested in that. So I'll let you know when there's more details about that. There are just some other ideas of Toronto clubs and the things they're doing, but a couple of things that struck me. Sharon Lee from Toronto West was talking about they're trying to focus on more low-key events. And one of the things that they're looking at is encouraging their members to volunteer at the places that they support, that they donate to. So that got me thinking that as I heard the comments at last week's meeting about interest in doing more hands-on donations. And so, we might have an opportunity, there might be opportunities to do something that we can manage to do at some of the groups that we help. Also, Toronto Sunrise, which is downtown and a fairly small club, they're doing a focus on pollinator gardens and container gardening, and they're going to be having a seed packet giveaway. And I thought that's something we could think about for next spring for our environment awareness. I don't know how we do it, or I'm just throwing out ideas, some things that struck me as really interesting. Those were the three really things I wanted to bring to your attention. Just in general, I'm an ideas person, so I throw things out there. Doesn't necessarily mean we'll do them, but I just thought I'd share. So yeah, that meeting was really interesting. And I have nothing else to report. Except that there's mosquitoes in my room, in my cabin with me, and I'm annoyed. Anyway, go on.
Any happy bucks for today?
I'll be happy if I can kill these mosquitoes. No, I'm happy to give $10. I'm up here. Today was a lot less hot than other days, but I'm up here with my mom and her friend Nellie, and we're having a lovely visit. And I'm really happy that she's able to get up here. And even though the air quality isn't great today, it's better than it is in Toronto, but it's not great. Mom's still okay, like she's not having any trouble breathing, and so it's been a good day. So I'm happy about that.
I'll give $10 as well for Jackie and others reminding me of some of our institutional memory here that I don't do a good job remembering. So $10 for that.
I think, Chad, congratulations for making that connection again, because there is a school in our area that really needs support. And I was thinking, I wonder if connecting Helen Latimer with them, because Helen's had that experience with the after school tutoring program. And many of John Polanyi's kids are English second language learners, as are Helen Latimer's kids. So we've got, we don't have to throw money at things. We've just got great connections. We've got people that we can direct to help John Polanyi. I mean, we could all teach English. We could all take turns being there Saturday morning and teaching or just helping. So great idea that you've reconnected. And I'm so happy that Rahim, I mean, we've got an honorary member still there.
Anyone else?
Jackie, do you know if he started school?
Pardon?
I thought Raheem had left the school, but she sort
Well,
of
I asked
suggested.
her and she said he was still there.
I know. I'm
It was
curious.
the vice principal, that wonderful Japanese guy, right? Gunitsu, you remember him? He was the one who wanted to drive the students all the way to the Moose Factory Island. I think he left.
It was wonderful.
Is he the same person? Did he go back to JPCI?
No, the vice principal has been transferred. He's at another school. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
that's why. Okay.
Okay. Well, if there's nothing, well, if next week I should say July 22nd in person, we've got the Toronto Club and a HIP student coming in, so that should be interesting. And Norma,
Just a question on a totally different topic. I just want to ask the board something. I probably should do this in an email, but I probably shouldn't be doing it now. Oh, Lisa, somebody had mentioned to me, and I remember a number of years ago walking with Lois and her suggesting to me that they put out new guidelines for new members. And I was made aware this week that not everybody knows that the birthday is every Rotarian every year. I'm not going to tell who or what or ever, but I just have been made aware that not all our new members know. And I believe that. I look at how many people don't do every Rotarian every year. And is there any possibility of us doing another workshop on reminding all members, new members, what every Rotarian every year is? I think it's
The membership committee gives them a primer that's got that in it, and their mentor goes over it. We haven't had any new members in the last year or so, but next week we're inducting two new people. So please try to make an effort to get there so we have a good turnout. But
I
you're
know
right.
they happy birthday to people, but people don't know that this means they have to give $100 US, or should not have to. That's the wrong word. That they they have a commitment to give $100 US. I do know that not every new member knows this. That's all I'm saying.
It's
Maybe we
certainly
need-
been talked about at meetings, and I can bring it up again. That's no problem. In fact, my birthday is next month, so there's a good segue there. So, because not that it's all about me, but I
They
think
just
it's
say,
worth saying. And we've talked too about giving to our foundation versus giving to the Rotary International Canada Foundation, and the different avenues of doing it. So yeah, we can certainly revisit that. I think it's worth the reminder and also just the education factor if people aren't aware. So thank you for that. Thank you for that observation.
okay, thank you.
Glenn, well, I've got you here. Can you keep me in mind for JPCI? I won't be at Monday's meeting.
Wednesday's meeting?
Glenn, I think.
Wednesday, next Wednesday.
No. Community services Monday.
Oh, okay. This is directed at Glenn. I can send you the old list, but JPCI was on our approved list for the city for donations from bingo money. And the reason that and that was to when we gave money directly to JPCI, the challenge with the scholarships is if they're made out to the individual students, it doesn't qualify. But giving money to JPCI is something that we could probably restart from bingo, just as an aside.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And Lisa, there's a workaround for the scholarship money. You give the money to the TDSB's foundation and they write the check to the student. Then the school writes the check to the students. It doesn't have to be done the way
Yeah, no,
we
and
currently
I
do it
think
now.
that's something we should look into for next year, because I think it just makes more sense. There's a better, I don't know, checks and balances maybe that way. But yeah, I hear you and I agree.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Chad.
Thank you.
Good week all. Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you, Chad.